love to identify an opportunity and then see, where does that take us and take me? And so I'm open to all of that, because often, I jumped into this journey, and a lot of us jump into this journey and we're all excited. My life is going to be a certain way. And there is this really uncomfortable growth spurt that happens. We don't dive into that black hole of burnout. We see the rim and we can go, oh, I see it. This is what I need to do to back up from it. That one word into those kind of descriptors, then we have something to really start paying attention to and that we identify, because you're very likely going to feel that at one point in your journey, whether it's really soon or down the road.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Infinite Icons podcast, where we bring you conversations with entrepreneurs, visionaries, and professionals who shape the way we think about business and success. Today, we are joined by Chelsea Espinoza, founder and CEO of Road to Jubilee. She is a leader with a powerful mission, especially empowering women. So let's find out more from her. And before we begin, if you already have not subscribed to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Hey, Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, it's such a pleasure talking to you. Cool. It's going to be so much fun learning about what you do and things like that. So please, let's begin with your journey. So how for those who may not know, what is Road to Jubilee, and also what inspired you to begin that?
Thank you for asking that question. Road to Jubilee is my company that I started, and primarily I work with women to improve our quality of life. And I do that through coaching and workshops and public speaking and leadership training and development. And I love focusing on quality of life, because I can ask you or you, I can ask multiple people, what is quality of life to you? And I'm almost certain that I'm going to get a different answer from different people. And they all are very important to us. Whatever we pick as our quality of life, we're all very deeply connected to it. And so what I have found with working with people on quality of life, what I help them do is foster a path towards achieving the life that is most important to them. And this came up for me because a lot of it's based on my own story, where I was finding myself in positions where I was giving to so many different entities, whether it was work or family or relationships. And I was not necessarily in the habit or the practice of making sure that I was getting filled up. And that actually ended up affecting me physically a few years ago, to the point where I had something wrong with me. I'll call it something wrong with me. And I say that because no one knew what was wrong with me. All of my symptoms did not prove any positive tests or any results that were easy to say, oh, you have X, Y, and Z, so we can treat it with A, B, and C. And so on my healing journey, I decided that I needed to make sure that no matter what I could do, I would do things and incorporate practices that would help me live my own quality of life. I did not want to be in this position again. I did not want to be out of work for months and uncertain about my future and not even sure that I was going to live. And so I began this practice of what matters most to me, and how can I be in tune with my body and what's going on around me, so that I'm more grounded and connected and avoid being in this position again. So from that, I started Road to Jubilee. And Road to Jubilee is this beautiful culmination of me living on purpose, of me living on the other side of not really knowing what my life is going to look like, knowing that I am called to do something more meaningful and purposeful, and then taking action on it.
Beautiful. I love that. And I'm so glad that, you are what you are today, and the glorious you. So thanks. And I'm so glad for that.
Thank you.
So, I can understand how hard it could have been. And really glad that you're back. And looking back, were there any moments when you realized that, yes, this is it, this is the path I'm supposed to, I'm meant to walk? Was there any moments at all?
There was a singular moment, but there were a lot of moments that led up to that moment to where I knew I was supposed to take action. And to give an example, I've had this vision for a retreat property that I want to be a participant in and an owner in, and have this place where people can come and rest. And every time I say that, I see mostly women go, that sounds great. I want a place where I can go to rest. And being a person who already gardens and loves to be able to share what I harvest from my fruits and vegetables and share it with other people, I thought, oh, this will be part of my retreat property. And so I've got this full vision of what is to be down the road. And the name of the property will be Jubilee. But the $1 million question is when and where. And as I'm not ready to see that to fruition, or it's not ready for me, I'm not sure which one it is, I have embarked on this path where all things and all roads lead to Jubilee. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. You did.
Just
Yes.
a heads up, you're going to get a real talk with me because I like keeping these just real and we are unscripted, and I love that about this.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, that's the beauty of all this. You cannot
Yeah.
prepare for these kind of conversations.
Yes.
Right. So once you are a founder, were there any initial hurdles you had to overcome? And,
Yes.
like for anybody who's starting their business now, could be a little guidance.
Yes. Before I answer that, I do want to back up because I did feel like I didn't really answer your question, and I didn't quite. So I just want to circle back to, was there a moment when I knew? And there was a moment that I knew, because these seeds have been planting inside of me and germinating inside of me for a very long time about the retreat property, but not really understanding and knowing how to get there. And so when I have recovered from my illness, I'm back in the workforce, I'm the vice president of a company, and I am doing all these things and taking care of all these nuances in the company and this business, I came to realize this is not the best use of my gifts and talents. And really with the understanding and the awareness that I have a second chance, because I literally was not sure if I was going to make it through this time of being sick. What am I going to do with this second chance? And I did have this number of messages coming to me telling me it's time to let things go. And I really wasn't sure what it was. But it was really ultimately when I sat and I removed myself from the chaos of life. I was on vacation, of all things. And I realized, oh, I really need to take action on this. And it was such a calming and settling feeling. Every other time I thought about it, I felt anxiety or, I'm not sure, uncertainty, but I was so calm in that moment. I knew that I knew it was time to move forward with this. And to answer your next question, some of these, I'll call them speed bumps and roadblocks that have happened on this journey is me completely learning a whole new industry, right? I came from a landscape construction company, and now I am going into being very personable and helping others with things that are really, really important to them. And the fostering of and the building of that trust has been paramount. And so it's been a little bit more slow moving than I thought it would be. I thought, I'm just going to do this. And everybody that knows me knows I'm so great at connecting and helping other women. Everybody said, of course, it's a no-brainer. I'm so excited for you to do what you do. And then there's the realities of building a business.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, having those beautiful thoughts and the energy and everything, you have it all chalked out so beautifully to the T. And then when you actually have to execute it, it's not just you. There's a whole village, if you could, say.
Yes.
So it takes everybody for any one of us to grow. So yeah, I can totally relate to that.
Yeah. Right. And we're not meant to do this by ourselves. We are supposed to do this together. I believe that, I'm very capable of creating things by myself, but why would I want to? What, there's life is so much more fruitful when we have supportive people with us to walk alongside this and to share these experiences with.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how was the transition from a corporate world to being a founder of your own and your boss?
The transition has been interesting. So I was in landscape construction. So if you imagine front yards, backyards, pools, all of that, and I ended up stumbling upon that career. It's not something that I really chose, but the open door kept providing avenues for me to walk through, and it gave me a lot of really great behind the scenes business sense. And that was my second career. My first career is I was an interior designer, and I had my own business. So I came to this moment of, I know how to build business. I know how to run a business. I know how to grow a business. I know how to be an owner. The transition was twofold. One, I gave myself some moments to rest. I literally gave myself a month to regroup and kind of decompress and give myself some space to get creative with, what do I want to build here? What is it that my goal is, and who do I want to help? And so the beauty of that was, one, it was for me, it was quote unquote for me. It's not really for me, it's for the people that I'm going to help. But it was the vision that I've had inside of me for a really long time. Therefore, it's my baby. So I'm building for the purpose of my heart and my soul versus doing it for other people. I'm happy to help and support other players, but now it's more of a mission-driven experience and business.
How beautiful. I know it is like working in a place for somebody is good. You get to learn and you get to meet people and you learn with everybody else. But once you are on your own, you do the learning, but it's a very different experience. And yeah, you got to be disciplined, and there is no one telling you that this is your target. You got to finish this or whatever. You got to meet somebody. It's all on you. So it's so important to be self-driven.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Self-drive and determination are the best food for this experience. The best kind of, I end up doing things in garden-like metaphor. It's not the only thing. You need all these other components. You need the soil and the fertilizer and the water, but you also need to nourish the soil. And those two things are one of the things I have found that's the most important, because without it, you can't grow healthy.
True. So true. So you keep meeting so many people as your clients or people you meet generally. Are there any stories or transformation that stays with you and which keeps reminding you that, why you do this?
Every woman that I meet reminds me why I do this. I really do. I have a heart for women, and I have a heart because I've experienced the majority of what we experience in life and in culture on a daily basis. But also, I love how we can connect and weave together in a way that we can't necessarily do with men or with kids or things like that. So that's the first part of that question. Every single day, I love what I do. I love helping people. I love watching an awareness come from somebody that has been brewing inside of them that helps them get to the next level. I'll give one specific instance in a second. But I operate a lot of what we do under, we can make changes in our life towards where we want to be. But without growth, there is no true change. So very often we will leave a job, or we'll get divorced, or we'll change the things, we'll move, we'll change the things and positions. And sometimes that is exactly what needed to happen. Sometimes the change that happens within us is the actual thing that needs to happen so that we can have, or the growth that happens within us is so we can have the actual change. So that's one of my favorite parts that I get to see within my clients are those moments of growth. And they're stepping stones. There's no magic wand. And specifically, I was working with one client who's had this dream of living in a certain area for a very long time. And because of just the journey that we were fostering. She did all the work. I'm not the one that, it's her life and her story. She's the one that did all the work and had the awarenesses. But then to now see how her life has shifted and changed because of that. She's living in the area she's always dreamed of living in. She's doing the kind of work with the people she's always wanted to, and everything that I got to see and experience with her was so gratifying, but not so much for me. It's just really gratifying to watch the transformation in her life.
Beautiful. That's so fulfilling, and that you feel that whatever you try to help actually took place in a very positive manner. So yeah,
Yeah. And the other thing I
amazing.
always like to add at the end of that is the goal isn't all, how do I say this? The goal isn't always the goal.
Mm,
That is a result of and a fruit of the efforts. Does that mean her life is perfect? No. Does that mean she's going to have more challenges? Absolutely. But now there are tools that have been established that can be put into place when those hard times come or when those busy seasons come. So, and I'm going to say she, but really for all of the people that I work with and all of us, we have these things that we can put into play and to practice when it's not easy and when it's not hard. Excuse me, and when
mm.
it is hard.
True, true. So it is all like more than a goal, it's a milestone. You keep achieving, you keep going. So every distance you cover, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be easy. Sometimes it is going to be easy. So
Yeah.
it's everything. It's a very mixed bag.
Well, it's life, right? Life is a
Mm,
mixed bag. And once we achieve one milestone, most of us are ready to start heading for the next one.
mm,
Most of us don't spend enough time, and I'm guilty of this too, just kind of basking in the, oh my gosh, look how far I've come.
mm,
And I talk a lot about the importance of taking a moment to reflect. How far have we come? Because we've come much further than we think. And when we
right,
take those moments to reflect on that, the journey to go to the next place doesn't seem so far. It's still far, but doesn't seem as far. And
right.
that's quality. To me, that's a form of living in quality of life.
Mm, so true. Yeah. Yeah. But actually, building something meaningful usually takes time and efforts and usually comes with a lot of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of your lessons you learned as a founder?
Mm. Let me think here for a second. I would say the one that has been the most impressive is that things are going to be uncomfortable and things are going to be hard. And what I do with that is the most important. Because often, I jumped into this journey, and a lot of us jump into this journey and we're all excited. My life is going to be a certain way. And there is this really uncomfortable growth spurt that happens when we are trying to create change. And it creates questions like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I on the right path? What am I doing wrong? What am I not doing enough of? And so it creates this kind of almost internal crisis that is worth paying attention to and questioning and answering the questions. But it's not the end of the journey. It's part of the journey. And so that has been really, really impressed upon me, especially when things are, I'm just going to do this. It's going to be so great. And, people, blah, blah, they're going to flock to me. Or, I don't really think that, but, I just whatever the naivete was that I needed to make the bold
Mm-hmm.
leap of the decision to do what I'm doing. I have to be very careful that it doesn't get washed away by the challenges because it's part of the process. So to remember and to be reminded with my community and the people that I have around me and that I have invited to intentionally support me in this, please remind me of this. And I do. I am reminded of it on the days or the weeks that it creeps back in. And then tomorrow's another day. Get back on the horse and keep riding towards to Jubilee, literally.
Oh, cool, cool. So, how do you stay strong, especially with your with the kind of things you deal on a regular
Mhm.
basis, how do you stay motivated, especially when the work gets really hard, and also it might even get into something emotional? How
Mhm.
do you stay put?
Mhm. First of all, emotion doesn't scare me.
Oh,
I am known as someone who is, let's go deep. If you need to go deep, we can go deep. Let's go to the bone if we need to go to the bone, because that's where the real transformation happens, in those moments. And a lot of times emotion is a revealer. It's not anything that is a good or a bad thing. It reveals what's really going on inside of us if we take the time to sit with it and question what's really going on. How and where I stay motivated is I stop and I question, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? And sometimes that question just lingers. Very often it's very fleeting because I go, yeah, I know. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
mhm.
So then from there, once I know, okay, I'm grounded, I'm calibrated, then I do one of two things. What am I supposed to do next? Keep the steps small, right in front of me, not big picture. Very often with the big picture, it's so easy to get lost and to be
Totally.
get okay, hold on a second, where am I going? And sometimes I feel, and I'm sure other people do too, is like I feel a little bit lost at sea. Where's my compass? But from there, what am I supposed to do next? And then I'm very intentional about my pace. And when I talk about pace, I mean, if I feel led to hit it, like we're going to go 55 miles an hour right now from the gate, or we're going to go 5 miles, I respond to that. And one of the places that I feel, and actually mostly, especially with my experience, is I really pay attention to what my body is feeling. What capacity do I have right now? This morning I had 5% capacity. Yesterday I was 95. So, there's no good or bad. It's just absolutely different than what we have been taught and what our culture expresses, that we need to go all the time and on all the paces, hit it, hustle, hustle, hustle. And that there's a end, there's a timeline to that. That only goes for so long. We can only sustain that pace for so long.
Mm. Yeah, you need to keep changing your gears and taking a pause, taking turns, and
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. How about all those no's and you approach somebody for, I mean, for your launch of your business or for any such big ideas. There are so many rejections which we come across. It's a common thing. It is, a no-brainer at all. So how do you handle with that? To some extent, okay, or no, constant no is kind of puts you down, isn't it? How
See,
do
yeah,
somebody pull themselves up and
I would say
keep
go back
moving?
to the last question that you just asked and answered. It's my same process. It is,
Mm,
am I supposed to be doing what I'm doing? um, and then I always try to remind myself that what I'm doing, especially as building a business, it's a lot of seed planting. There's my garden metaphor again. There's a lot of
mm,
seed planting. And when we plant seeds, they need to take root before we see them actually sprout and grow. I'm going to continue with my garden metaphor. Once they sprout and grow, they don't produce fruit yet. They take a while. Most plants blossom, and then they start growing a fruit. And I'm going to tell you, when they start growing a fruit or a vegetable, it still takes time for that
mm.
to actually grow into something that can be harvested. So I try to remember that all the time and use those kind of life metaphors that I'm familiar with. I can use the same thing for cookies. The same metaphor, different ingredients. You need all the ingredients in the cookie batter, and then you need to put it in the oven. So I remind myself by having those kind of positive affirmations already in my back pocket. I don't wait until I'm starting to feel discouraged to try and think about them. I have them either written down or with my support system to remind me, so that when I am in that time, we pull it out, we start thinking about it. Um, yeah, I think that'd probably be the most effective way that I
Mm,
can think about all the no's. And then,
yeah.
some people offer, that no is the next, is getting you closer to your next yes. Yeah, it might be. It might be.
We don't know that. Yeah,
I know.
very true. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the best part. There is a little suspense, there is some thrill, and there is success, and there's a little, bumps here and there. So, yeah.
Yes. When I think about, am I supposed to do this? I think about a lot of the data and the numbers that I come across so that I can communicate it to validate why I'm doing what I'm doing. One of the things is, as women, we experience 12% more burnout than men. And men report 35% rate of burnout. So if we're
Mm.
12% more than that, we're 47% reporting burnout. That's half of us. What are we doing? And I don't want to give us all of the ownership in that, because a lot of it is culturally the way we're raised, socioeconomic systems that support us. But I do believe that it starts with us paying attention to some of these numbers, paying attention to what's going on in our body, and paying attention to what and who is and isn't supporting us. And that's one of the biggest things that keeps me motivated. It's not only been my experience, it is going on with reportedly at almost one half, and that's reportedly, of our culture and our society right now.
Mm. I know it is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when we think about what we talk about burnout, and that is a word that is kind of thrown around very loosely. I'm burnout. But when we think about it, when we put other words to it, what is burnout? Right?
Mm.
It's feeling defeated,
Yeah.
feeling alone and not supported, feeling uncertain about our future. And so when we break that word down in that one word into those kind of descriptors, then we have something to really start paying attention to, and that we identify, because you're very likely going to feel that at one point in your journey, whether it's really soon or down the road. I've felt it. She's feeling it. And we're not even talking about single moms. We're not even talking about so many other variables in this. But the one
Mhm.
thing that is constant is that we are not set up. Those of us who are feeling burnout are not set up necessarily to thrive through it, and or make it so that we don't dive into that black hole of burnout. We see the rim and we can go, oh, I see it. This is what I need to do to back up from it. And these are the things I already have in place because I've built a muscle and I'm prepared for it.
Mm. Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Deep thoughts brought to you by Chelsea.
Oh, yes, indeed. Right. I mean, yeah, this was deep and it was beautiful. Highly relatable to many of us, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Burnouts comes in different shades and shapes. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we don't know what we are going through and what each other is going through. Yeah. Great.
Exactly.
So, as your business grows, Chelsea, what are you most excited about in your next chapter?
I am really excited about. I don't want to put it out into the next year because I'm not a fan of, oh, next year is going to be so amazing.
Right.
But I'm really excited to continue to see the fruit that's going to happen from the people that I meet and the workshops that I do and the clients that I'm working with. I don't have any quote unquote big events planned yet for next year, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what this next year does bring. I'm really big on not missing opportunities. I love to identify an opportunity and then see, where does that take us and take me? And
Mhm.
so I'm open to all of that.
Fantastic. I wish you the best, best, best.
Thank you. You
Awesome.
as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Did I miss out anything? Did I miss asking you anything? Is there more for our viewers to learn from you today?
Mm, there's so much more.
Please go on. Yes.
I think, what I want to offer is that for all of us as women, I say a lot, we wear all the hats and we spin all the plates and we do everything for everyone else. And
Mhm.
just like you're doing, not the viewers can't see you right now because they're watching me, but you're going like this.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I've met one woman that I have said that to, whether it's one-to-one or in a room, that hasn't done this.
Mhm.
And that's what we're doing. And we're tired. We're really tired. And for whatever reason, there's a number of reasons that we could go into if we wanted to. And I just want to give us the permission and the acknowledgement. First, the acknowledgement, we're tired. There's a lot that we do. And there is this work-life balance that just keeps getting floated out there that we're supposed to achieve. And I'm really more encouraging work-life harmony. We're going to have busy seasons, all of that. But I want to acknowledge how much we're doing and also give us permission that we can stop. We can find ways to either slow down and change our pace or stop. It's just how we go about it. And behind the scenes, I'm not going to, so what ends up happening is, like, she says I can stop. I'm just going to leave, like, we're bye. But it's not so much stopping right now. It's figuring out how to best create moments that are most meaningful to us and intentional to us, and finding the supportive players that will make it so that we can do this together. And whether that's me as a coach or your family member that lives with you, or, watching more podcasts like yours, it's, we can do it. And a lot of what I offer is, what are we feeling and how do we respond to that? And most often it's because we're trying to do too many things at one time and we're beholden to too many responsibilities. So let's choose that pace as much as we can.
That was beautiful, Chelsea. I mean, it was so comforting, and definitely I would like to book a session with you and get organized a little bit more.
I can
Awesome.
definitely help. Happy to help.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're
Excellent.
all in this
Excellent.
together, and we deserve more than, just doing the things that are expected of us. It's
Mm,
really time for us as women to shake up and to look at how we're doing life.
you're right.
We
Got
can
it.
do it.
Got it. Yeah. So many of our listeners are aspiring entrepreneurs or people
Mhm.
who are trying to find their purpose. What's your message to them?
My message to you is, you are stronger than you think. We all have opportunities and we all have a calling in life. And I think that responding to that calling is really important, and paying attention to the ebb and the flow of that calling. Sometimes that calling is, we're there, let's do it. And sometimes it's something that's in our back pocket and it's not necessarily all falling into place yet. So stay the course, stay encouraged, and make sure that you have supportive players around you to encourage you along the journey.
It's beautiful. What's the best way to reach out to you, Chelsea?
You can find me on my website, roadtojubilee.com. And I have a YouTube channel myself, Road to Jubilee. And I have an Instagram page. Guess what it's called? Road to
Road
Jubilee.
to Jubilee. Oh,
Yes.
fantastic, fantastic. That was amazing, Chelsea. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, your journey, and of course, the incredible work you're doing through Road to Jubilee. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you
I
for
wish you
having
all
me.
the best.
You as well. Thank you.
Yeah. For all the listeners, hey, check out Road to Jubilee and stay connected. Thanks for tuning in to the Infinite Icons podcast, and I will see you all next episode. Thank you so much.